You're watching My Animated Life with me, Pete Ellis.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! What? What do you think you're doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing?
Your lips aren't moving.
Yeah, you've not put any lips on me yet.
What?
You've not done the lip sync.
Eh?
The lip sync.
Oh, yeah. Good one.
Finally.
Well, let's do that video at the beginning with lip sync.
You're watching My Animated Life with me, Pete Ellis.
Oh, yes. It's another stop motion tutorial. It's really quite irritating, isn't it, when the lip sync isn't correct. This is something that stop motion animators can struggle with, and I'm here to show you exactly how we can overcome that. This opening video that you saw, I am now going to break down and show you exactly how it is that I did it from start to finish. So my mini-me, as you are more than aware, has a mouthpiece, and the mouthpieces are actually little stick-on mouths. Now these stick-on mouths are from animationtoolkit.com. Wes is a good mate of mine. If you're after any stop motion supplies, then please go to him. Amazing, this is not a plug. Anyway, these stick-on mouthpieces are used to create the phonetic shapes that are needed to deliver lip sync. And when you're doing lip sync, this is quite important that you get the phonetic shapes correct. It's actually not as important to get the vowel shapes right, but more to get the consonants right, the T's, the M's and the N's. These shapes make your brain understand how lip sync works and how we are creating speech. That is going to become more apparent once I have done what I do with all of my major films, like Dawn of the Dead, like the Thatcher Dogs, and in some cases I've done it with my mini-me. So, what I do before I even think about doing any kind of lip sync is I need to make it easier for me to create the lip sync by having references. And the way to do that is by putting my mini-me in front of a camera quite close up, so I can stick on all of these mouthpieces that we have here. All of these 20 or so mouthpieces I am going to stick onto my mini-me using Dragonframe. I will take a frame, change the mouthpiece, put another one on, change it, put another one on for every photograph. Try not to move the head too much, and this gives me a reference of my mini-me's head with all of the different mouthpieces on it. Well, let me show you, it'll make it even more sense as I do it. Right, okay, I've just finished photographing all of the mouthpieces onto my mini-me, and you can see it here up on Dragonframe. These are all the different mouthpieces, and as I said, I've just done each individual frame with a different mouthpiece. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Sketchbook Pro. Now you can use any program that you want to use as long as it's a photo program that will save as PSD files, which is Photoshop documents. Now Sketchbook Pro does this, so here we are. I've opened up my Sketchbook Pro. Now all I'm going to do is open up the first picture, and there it is, and it's gone onto its very own layer. So I'm going to delete the layer behind, and this layer, now we can rename this layer to the exact name that it needs to be. So this is an EI big, it's an open wide EI. The phonetic shapes copy over, so even though it's an E, it's also an I, so they copy over. So I'm just going to type in E stroke I, and then I'm going to put a dash and put big, because it's a big version of it, EI big. Okay, Now, I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but I'm going to do a quick speed time lapse now of me putting all of these photographs in on separate layers in Sketchbook Pro. Okay, there we go. We have absolutely every single one of these photos in Sketchbook Pro, and I'll just very quickly go through them all. So we've got M and P. As I said before, these cross over, so it's not only is it an M, it can be a P as well. Then we have smile small, TH small, or with teeth, or with no teeth, Q, small, M small, smile big, FV small, FV wide, EO, it's kind of in between, it's that in between one, EI small, EI wide, and that's them. That's all of the photos now on Sketchbook Pro. So all I now need to do is save them as a PSD file format. Once we're in Dragonframe, what we need to do is go over to the audio dialog, which is up in the top right hand corner. Open the reference photos, bosh. Okay, now they've been imported in, but we need to make an actual character. So we need to add a character to the Dragonframe. Add character, we're going to call it Mini Me. Okay. Then obviously that's not the correct face, but if we click here, we can open up the Mini Me reference photos. Bosh, there they all are. This is amazing because what this means you can do is before you start concentrating on how to animate your character, you can have the dialogue already set up. You can work out your dialogue beforehand in this format, get it exactly how you want it to be, and then when you actually come to animating, you already know what mouthpiece you're going to be changing it to because you've worked it out beforehand. So what I need to do now is add the dialogue for that opening sequence that you saw, and well, here I am doing it right this very second.
You're watching My Animated Life with me, Pete Ellis.
So the dialogue has now been done, and I want to import it into this Dragonframe program. Lip sync dialogue is right there. Import the audio. Okay, so now that I've put the dialogue into Dragonframe, I can press the spacebar on the keyboard and listen to the dialogue in Dragonframe.
You're watching My Animated Life with me, Pete Ellis.
Excellent. Now, what I can do is, if I go back to the very beginning of this sequence, I can now start putting the mouth shapes in the correct place with the dialogue. So my mini-me would probably start off with just a neutral, relaxed M shape. We just want maybe the small M, for instance. Now, as you can see, when I click on the small M, it appears in the actual timeline itself. And I'm literally going to find the points that I want to change the mouth shape, and when I do, I will scrub through, and as you can hear, they're starting to change shapes. So at this point here, I'm starting to go, so I'm going to add a W Q sound right in there, and as you can see, that has now changed within the timeline. Yep. And then we'll go a little bit wider. And then at this point here, it's sounding like a so I'll put a T. And then we'll just play that back. You see?
Yup.
There you go. Okay, so that is exactly how we go through this whole sequence and create lip sync. I'm going to continue doing this. We'll time lapse through it and you'll get the whole sequence done, and it should look absolutely fantastic. Be back shortly. Okay, I've done this very rough. Now let's see how it actually looks.
You're watching my animated life with me, Pete Ellis.
That is how you can do a reference for your lip sync before you even start doing the animation. Now, the next phase, which makes it even easier, is we can move this whole sequence into Dragonframe 4, and before we start animating, we can get all of those phonetic shapes that are written down on the layers into the dope sheet by the side of where we're animating, so we know when we need to change these mouthpieces. I'm going to save this project, open up in Dragonframe 4 and show you exactly what I mean. Okay, we are all set up and ready to start doing the animation itself. I've got my time lapse just about to start, and I've also got the screencast on the computer, and I've opened up Dragonframe 4. I'm going to animate everything in Dragonframe 4. So as I've opened up, I'm able to get on the right hand side the dope sheet, which has got all of the relevant mouthpieces that need to be changed. As you can see here, we've got the WQ, the T, S and E sound of the W and Q, so I can refer back to all of these and make sure that I animate the mouthpieces on those frames at the exact right time. As you'll know, when I recorded the voice for this, I filmed it as well, and that is going to be used as my reference. So what I've got up here is the actual reference movie here, and if I click it, you can open it up, you can actually see me here doing the reference video. Now, what I can do is then superimpose this over the top of my character, as you can see here, and this just gives me a good reference point. I've matched it up so it's kind of the same size. So, I'm ready to start. Obviously, I've got to get my character into his opening position with his hand over the camera, and let's see where we get to with it all. See you very soon as I start my animation. Okay, so I have got my hand in the correct place and I'm ready to take my very first shot of this sequence. At the moment, it doesn't matter what mouthpiece I've got on because the hand is in front of it, but we're going to just work through this animation now, and hopefully you will see how we can use this lip sync to make life easier when we're animating. I will show you as we go through where I need to change mouthpieces, and hopefully it should all make sense. Let's get that first grab right here, and I'm going to press it right now. Two shots have been taken. That's because I'm working on twos. Just makes life a lot easier. Now, as that has happened, we have moved down to frame number 3, which, if you look at the dope sheet on the screen, we are ready for a W qu sound to be put onto my mouthpiece. That is exactly what I'm going to do right now. Continue. Okay, so I've just done this opening sequence with his hand moving backwards, and I'm just getting to the point where we are changing to the TSE sound. It's like a banging out wide, which is kind of what I was doing really. We're going So I'm just about to change the oo, w, and qu sound for an e sound, an out wide e sound. This is how we do it. It just makes life so much easier if we do it this way. Just taking the w sound off, and we're going to put the wide, it's the TSE sound. But as I'm going through this, I'm just adding little subtle tweaks just to keep the character alive, and that can be like little movements of the eyes. So I just had him shifting to the left, and now he's just about to do from my animated life, and I'm just doing a very slight lift of the pupils on the my rather than the eyebrows. I'm going for the eyes, my animated life, as you can probably see here.
You're watching.
So if I was to take away the reference video,
You're watching. You're watching. You're watching.
just a little slight tweak up with the pupils, it just keeps the character alive. And obviously I'm thinking more about the performance than the lip sync, because I know that as long as I put the mouthpieces on at the correct time from what I've already worked out, I know that it's going to be correct. So it's more than concentrating on the performance, and that is the main aim of trying to do animation, getting the performance out of the puppet rather than working out how the lip sync works. So that makes sense. It's all been about getting the performance right, and that's what's key to doing this kind of lip sync that I do. It makes everything else a lot easier for you to just concentrate on the character. I'm going to continue on a little bit more now. We're just coming up to doing the E, the small E shape on the me, and I'll continue on. I'll probably stay on camera for a bit because I want to talk you through some of it now. Obviously, because I'm using the stick on mouths, it's quite simple and easy for me to just take the sticker off and add the next one on. Looking at the dope sheet, I know that the next one, if I scroll down my list here, I know that the next thing that needs to go on is an EI small, which is basically this one right here. We'll bang that into place on the model itself. And all I'm doing is I'm scrubbing through, So what I would probably do is use the reference video just for a sec so I can see. Now as you can see, the mouth actually moves up a bit too much, so I just need to bring it down a bit. What you find in lip sync is that your top mouth very rarely moves, it's a bottom mouth that moves. So when you're trying to do these kind of things, you want to make sure that it's the bottom part of the mouth that's moving. So that's looking a bit better.
You're watching my animated life with me.
Right, I'm happy that the mouthpiece is in the correct place on the mouth. Now I can just concentrate on the movement that I need to get out of him. So it's still kind of going me, so there's just a little bit more movement. You can see in the hands there, just a little bit more movement in the head. It's just to keep him alive. That very subtle movement there when you watch back.
You're watching my animated life with me.
Is keeping him alive. I'll grab that and we'll continue on. You're watching My Animated Life with me, Pete Ellis. That's it for this lip sync tutorial. I really hope you've taken something from this. I've really enjoyed making this video. I know it's taken longer than I was expecting, but that's because I wanted to make it exactly how I do it. And it's not an easy process, but if you want to get the best results, then that's how you should do it. I'm not saying it's how you should do it all the time, but when you're really getting into the lip sync and wanting to learn about it, it's a great way to start. Please, if you haven't already, like this video, subscribe, hit the notification icon so you don't miss any more of these videos. Excuse the mess in the studio. There is a reason for this. We are going off to Florida in a week's time, in less than a week's time. There'll be a video on that before we go, and then there'll be videos of us while we're out there. Please keep watching, keep subscribing. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.